Good morning. Welcome to the Friday morning's devotional. We're going to be looking today at Proverbs chapter 24 in verse 6. It says, "For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety." Starts off, if we were to look back at the background of this chapter, this is talking about a person who is looking or envious at evil men. And it begins with this idea of not being envious against evil men. And it gives some reason. Their heart studies destruction, their lips talk of mischief. It continues down and contrasts it with a wise man. Verse 5, "A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety." Two lessons out of this verse. Number one, find wise counselors. Anytime you're about to make a decision, it's wise to get advice. First of all, though, you need to make sure the advice you're getting is from wise people. So how do you know if somebody is a wise counselor? The Bible has a lot to say about people that have wisdom. In contrast, first of all, it says that a man who is foolish does not believe in God. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. So as a Christian, the first thing you should do is get advice from a fellow Christian. It makes sense, right? Somebody who doesn't believe in God, somebody who doesn't have the Lord as their Savior, has no knowledge of God and can't give you good advice to begin with. Their own lives are in a wreck. How can they advise you and give you good advice? So, for my wise counsel, first of all, it needs to be a saved person. Secondly, somebody who listens to instruction. Proverbs says over and over again, a wise man will hear instruction. A wise son heareth his father's instruction. And so somebody who doesn't listen to instruction and get advice from other people themselves is probably not somebody to get good advice from. For teenagers, for instance, it's pretty foolish to go to a teen who isn't obeying his parents to get advice because they're not wise, they're foolish. So first of all, a Christian. Secondly, a Christian who's listening to godly advice himself. And thirdly, wisdom. Someone who is wise is somebody who's going to seek knowledge. Somebody who bases their decisions on knowledge, not on feelings, not on ideas that they themselves have, but on knowledge, and they can give you facts and reasons for why they're advising you the way they are. So, a wise man. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. Your decisions that you make in life need to be by wise counsel. How do you know if somebody is wise? They need to be a Christian, first of all. They need to be listening to other people themselves. And, number three, they need to be acting by knowledge. End of verse 6 says, "And in multitude of counselors there is safety." The truth is that you can learn from almost anybody, as long as they have some wisdom. And so, a multitude of counselors will give you many different perspectives. Your perspective on something may be completely different than somebody else's. And getting their perspective will give you some knowledge in order to make a wise decision. And the more people you have, the more counsel you get, especially if they're wise counselors, the more safety you have in that decision, the less risk that decision is going to entail. Of course, every decision entails risk, but not every decision has to have the same amount of risk. And so as you begin to make these decisions, some decisions, what kind of candy bar am I going to get? There's not a lot of risk in that. But buying a car, there's a lot of risk in that. Or a house, or who you're going to marry. Those type of things include a lot of risk. And so it's advisable to get a lot of counselors on those things. Have a group of 5 or 6 people who are very wise and who you can trust to get counsel